everyone, I'm Allie with PotomacBeads. Join me in making this Queen Victoria pendant featuring our OvalDuo beads. If you need any of the materials, remember they were listed before, as well as there's links below me. If you're on a mobile, they're on those three lines kind of in the right corner, or you can drop down that description to get links to purchase from us online at PotomacBeads.com as well as PotomacBeads.eu. Let's get started. So to begin, I have a size 12 beading needle and I have green wildfire beading thread on here. Because I'm using the blue tones of beads, I really like that this green color really kind of just fades away into the blue when you have it on the piece that you won't see the actual thread. I have Miyuki brown seed beads in 15 and 11 and then Toho in 8. In the 15 I have the metallic light bronze. The 11, I have the ruby lined blue, Capri blue luster. And then in the Toho 80, I am using the metallic Nebula. I'm also using the antique brass OvalDuos, and again, I need 8 of those. I have my flatbacks here just to show that cobalt color, but I'm not actually going to glue them in with my Loctite glue until I'm done with the piece. I'll glue them in after the fact. To begin, I'm actually going to pick up a bead that's not part of the project and put it onto my 3 feet of my beading thread. Drop it down to almost the end of the thread and then take the thread and needle through it 2 times with the longer piece kind of coming out the top and the shorter piece towards the bottom. This is eventually going to come off the project and not stay on, so don't think of it as a permanent piece. That's why I like to use a bead that is not on my bead mat to create. We're going to begin by picking up and doing a pattern of 15, then 8, 15, and an OvalDuo. We're going to make sure that all the OvalDuos face the correct way because they do have a flat side that we're going to glue the flat piece onto, and they have a flat side that is the back. So go ahead and pick up the 15, 8, 15, and slide through the first hole of one of your OvalDuos. Again, we're repeating this 4 times to get our first starting area. Always picking up so that you can see the opening for the OvalDuo and picking up so that way you are stringing through the first hole or the bottom hole of that OvalDuo. Once you have 4 on, we are going to round it out and bring it into our circle. We started with the seed beads, so we're ending with one of our OvalDuos. Going back to the beginning here, I'm going to sew back through, starting at the stop bead, the 11, 8, 15, 8, 15, as well as through the first OvalDuo, through that same hole. So right now the second hole of all of the OvalDuos are blank. Giving a nice tight pull. I already love kind of that cobalt lapis color with it. Give a nice tight pull, making sure to pull it tightly so that way you don't see a lot of extra thread exposed. We're going to step up from the first hole here of the OvalDuo, basically to the second hole. To do so, we're going to decorate the edges a little bit. So we are going to end up putting on the sides here our next OvalDuo. And to do so, to decorate, we are going to be adding in a row here of another 15, 11 this time, 15, and then we're going to circle around and kind of add our 2-holed OvalDuo. So go ahead and take your thread and needle now that it's kind of secure through the next 15 and the 8 and bring your needle out. When coming out of the 8, I want you to add a 15, 11, 15, and then we're going to pick up our next OvalDuo. The OvalDuo we're going to sew in from the left-hand side of that bottom hole. We had been sewing into the right-hand side. Again, 15, 11, 15. And we're going to sew back through the 8 that our thread is coming out of, as well as the 15 after, the next OvalDuo, the next 15, and the next 8. Sometimes you have to do that in pieces and groups, that's fine. That's going to get our second layer on here. Make sure to just give a little push and get that to sit and cooperate down closely. You will see a little bit of thread. Don't worry about that because we're going to go back and basically cover it up with seed beads. So again, you want to come out through an 8-0 and you're going to repeat that same process just like we did before, that we have it a series of 4 times. Again, remember when you go into the OvalDuo on this round 2 and kind of circling around, you're going into the bottom hole on the left-hand side. Coming out that then, 15, 11, 15. Going back through the 8, the 15, through the next OvalDuo. Giving a nice tight pull so you don't see a lot of extra thread showing, making sure kind of your OvalDuo is sitting straight. And then again, out. So I'm going to repeat this 2 more times, and then we're going to go around and catch on to the second hole of that first row of our OvalDuos. Now that we have our second row kind of OvalDuos in here in a nice little formation, we're going to step up from the bottom hole of the first row of our OvalDuos to the second hole. You can kind of lay them out, make sure they're all sitting up straight for you. And now we're going to do a really, really simple pattern to connect them of a 15 and an 8, sewing from the bottom hole of the second row and connecting to that top hole. So again, when you're coming out of the bottom, you're going to do a 15 and then an 8 and sew into that first hole from the second hole of the first row of OvalDuos to the first hole of the next grouping. Coming out 8, 11, you're doing, or sorry, 8, 15, you're going to do the opposite and go into that second hole of the first 4. Again, coming out 15, 8. Go ahead and hold these in place here. Then opposite. This is going to hold our pendant flat then and hold all of our OvalDuos in place. The thing that I like about this is you don't need anything extra to do this. However, if you do want to add a little bit more bling, the size 8/0 seed beads are right about the size of the 1.5 by 2 millimeter Potomac crystal rondelles. So if you want to add a little bit of extra bling, you can go ahead and do that. All right, as I come in and finish up here, I'm going into that first OvalDuo that my thread was coming out of and completing that rotation to add in the 8s and the 15 there to get that nice stable formation. Continuing around and getting a little bit more of kind of our lace design, we're going to go through the 15, the 8, and the OvalDuo. So we're coming out of the first hole of one of the OvalDuos from row 2. When you're coming out there, we're going to decorate the sides with 2 15s and an 11 on each, kind of grouping from one hole to the other. So 2 15s, 1 11, 2 15s. We're going to sew from the bottom hole to the top hole of that same OvalDuo bead. When you're at the top hole then, what I want you to do is sew in here along the edge 2 15s, an 11 and 8, and then downgrade that. So you're doing 2 15s, 1 11, 1 8, then 1 11, 2 15s. You're going from the left-hand side of that hole into the right and bringing your thread and needle back to the left. What that's going to do is decorate basically the top of the OvalDuo with those seed beads kind of perfectly. On the side here then, we're going to cover up just like we did the other side with the 2 15s, 1 11, 2 15s. So into that bottom hole of the OvalDuo and bring your thread out. Give a nice tight pull and just kind of make sure all your seed beads are sitting really, really nicely. They should sit pretty perfectly. And then you're going to sew through the 8/0 seed bead after the OvalDuo. When you come out the 8/0 seed bead there, it's going to be time to kind of decorate around the top of the actual OvalDuo here in the center. So I'm coming out the 8/0. I'm going to add in 2 15s, 2 11s, and an 8/0 seed bead. So 2 15s, 2 11s, 8/0 seed bead, and then we're doing the opposite. 2 11s, 2 15s. You're going to go from one 8/0 seed bead over to the next 8/0 seed bead, as well as through the OvalDuo. And that creates that little bridge. Now we're on repeat. So again, you're gonna do 2 15s, 1 11, 2 15s, first hole to the second hole. Coming out the second hole, we need to do our top beads. So 2 15s, 1 11, 1 8, 1 11, 2 15s, and spiraling from that left-hand side of the hole to the right hand, back to the left. From here, decorate the side, 2 15s, 1 11, 2 15s, into that bottom hole, and out. That decorates the whole exterior of that one. Again, just give a nice little pull. Sew through the next 8, and continue on with your 2 15s, 2 11s, 1 8, down grading, and continuing adding in your seed beads all along the outside of the pendant. So as we put in our last kind of arching grouping of seed beads, I'm going through the last 8 seed bead. You can see that design already kind of starting to happen. Beautiful fit. All right, I'm gonna go through the OvalDuo, out through the 8 the line of seed beads, and come out through the 8 on the top of the interior row of my OvalDuos. What we're gonna do now, you can actually stop here if you want, but to hold it nice and kind of steady, we're gonna go in and add in some 11s and 15s and an additional 8 here to add a little bit more of that dark look around the edges. When you're coming out of the 8 seed bead, we are going to add a 15, then an 11, then an 8, and then a 15. From here, see that 11 over here along the side. Remember, we put 2 15s and 11 along the side. That was intentional, so we would have the 11 in order to link onto. From here, you're gonna go basically all the way around the exterior, reinforcing, and then coming out the 11 seed bead on the side. When you're out the 11 seed bead on the side, you're going to add in 15, 8, 11, 15, and so into the next 8. If you want to and you don't want to run the seed beads up the side, you can also go through the OvalDuo second hole to get there. I'm liking to kind of make it a seamless line along the edge, and that's why I go through all the seed beads. So you're going through those 15s right before that side 11, out the side 11, and then 15, 8, 11, 15 into that 8 that sits above the first row of OvalDuos. And there you have it. So again, we're just continuing around adding that seed bead outer edge, and then we get to have the fun of adding the bail as well as the crystals in place, which is going to totally transform it. As you finish up coming around here off the side, you're gonna add in your final 15, 8, 11, 15, go into that final 8. And depending on the Miyuki brand or the Toho brand, you may also need to add an extra little 15. But give a little tight pull. That's is gonna pull the seed beads kind of underneath that 8 along the side, and it'll just give you a 3-dimensional look that it's not completely flat. It has a little bit of a gradient to it, you can see. But it'll lay completely flat when it's on. From here, I need to get in and do my bail. So if you want to make it a little bit more Art Deco, you can come out with it on the square. I'm gonna come out with it on the diamond, taking my thread and needle, basically up from the 8 all the way back to the corner, coming out one of the 8 on top of the second row of seed beads. Lengthening my tail right there, you should have just enough thread. And then eventually we're gonna get that stop bead off. We're gonna go back and sew back through the back of the project. Bring that thread and that needle and thread to the back and tie off that ending thread. From here then go ahead and add in an 11 your wire guard or wire protector. You don't have to do this, it's kind of your choice. And then another, oops, down the other side of the wire guard, and then another 11. If you don't do this, you can add a bail, you can make a bail. I actually have a Better Beader episode all about bails, so check that out. I'm gonna reinforce this up through the wire guard one more time, through the 11s, down through the wire guard. What I'm gonna do with mine is put a jump ring on it and put it through some silk or some satin or ribbon and make it have that nice, really Victorian look. After you go through and reinforce the bail one more time, you're gonna go and sew down in towards the project, making sure that your thread is not being exposed at all. So you're going right along kind of the thread lines that you already have established. And the nice thing is with this color, you really aren't gonna see the thread. And spinning around them. Again, just gonna take it to the center of the project. And basically get rid of it by tying the two thread ends together. So I'll work my needle and thread. Sometimes you can take it back to the back of the piece to make it a little bit easier. Flip over, see where you need to go and what you need to sew through. So once I get these two thread ends back, I'm going to take that first one, tuck it back through, and pull it to the back. And then you have a nice area to work that one down and tie the two thread ends together. Now it's the fun time and the time to glue. So I have my Flatback Potomac Crystal ovals, and they are in the 6x8 millimeter because the Potomac ovals are going to be the 8x10, but then obviously you need an opening for them. We'll see whether or not my Loctite has any glue left in here. We use this tube well. Okay, so as I squeeze that Loctite tube down, you can see I'm kind of painting the interior of the OvalDuo with my Loctite glue. I'm going to do about 4 at a time, going in and adding the glue there. If you want to, you can use the crystal picker-upper. You can use little tweezers if you have one. Just going to set that right in there, position it, and press it down to glue. This glue does dry pretty quickly, so you want to set it down, kind of position it, and let that dry. If you happen to get a little bit of glue on the exterior of the crystal, you can also use some nail polish remover or acetane and actually get that off. So you can see the effect that it's having. I'm going to continue in gluing on my crystals and finish up my pendant. Thanks so much for watching the Queen Victoria Pendant. It really is quite an amazing little piece. I'll hold it up here for you to see. And if you need, again, any of those materials, below me are links to the exact products used, as well as all the products that you can purchase from us at PotomacBeads.com, as well as PotomacBeads.eu. Remember, don't limit yourself with the materials that are in here. You can do some resin, you can do some polymer clay, give it a whole nother look with crystals as well. If you want to, you can give a little thumbs up, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and write in the description any changes that you made. It's super helpful then for people watching and to build that awesome beading community. As always, thanks so much for watching the Queen Victoria Pendant, and enjoy making your own.